Welcome back to Fiction First. Today, we're diving into Only If You're Lucky by Stacy Willingham, a masterclass in dark academia meets psychological suspense. Known for her riveting plots and layered protagonists, Willingham brings us into the cloistered world of a Southern college campus where a young woman's desire to belong spirals into obsession, mystery, and chilling truths. This is more than just a missing persons case, it's a meditation on the intoxicating lure of friendship, the dangerous edges of memory, and the haunting weight of guilt. Stick around as we unpack the book's twisting plot, its deeply flawed but fascinating characters, the themes that make it resonate, and why you should absolutely add it to your shelf. About the author. Stacy Willingham is no stranger to suspense. Her debut novel, A Flicker in the Dark, was an instant New York Times bestseller, hailed for its atmospheric tension and intricately drawn characters. A former journalist with a background in psychology, Willingham brings a sharp eye for detail and emotional complexity to her fiction. With All the Dangerous Things, and now, Only If You're Lucky, she has cemented her place in the psychological thriller landscape as a voice worth watching. Her work blends introspective character study with high-stakes mystery, and she frequently explores the intersection of trauma, identity, and memory, turning the genre inward in thoughtful, unsettling ways. In Only If You're Lucky, Willingham dials into the raw vulnerabilities of late adolescence, loneliness, peer pressure, the desperate search for meaning, and turns them into psychological pressure points. It's clear she understands not just how to build a mystery, but how to layer it with emotional and existential weight. Her prose is sharp and lyrical, with a creeping dread that never lets up. If you like thrillers that ask big questions beneath the thrills, Stacy Willingham's growing body of work should be on your radar. Plot summary. Margot is a freshman at a small college in South Carolina, grieving, lonely, and emotionally adrift after the sudden death of her best friend Eliza. Margot's grief is raw and isolating, pushing her to the fringes of campus life, until she crosses paths with Lucy Sharp. Lucy is everything Margot is not: bold, charismatic, mysterious. She's the kind of person who seems to suck all the air out of a room simply by walking into it. And Lucy takes an immediate interest in Margot, pulling her into her tightly knit group of friends, the rich and aloof Nicole, and the loyal and sarcastic Sloane. What starts as an intoxicating friendship quickly morphs into something more dangerous. The group's nights are filled with alcohol-fueled misadventures, secret confessions, and a sense of lawlessness that seems exciting at first, until a male student is found dead near their off-campus house. As suspicion looms over their friend group, the cracks begin to show. Lucy, the center of their world, begins to pull away. Then, just as suddenly as she appeared, she disappears. No one seems to be taking it seriously. The police are brushing it off. Her friends shrug it off as typical Lucy behavior. But Margot can't let it go. She knows something is wrong. Desperate for answers, Margot starts digging into Lucy's past, uncovering fragments of a girl who is not who she said she was. Simultaneously, the story unfolds across two timelines: Margot's present-day investigation into Lucy's disappearance, and flashbacks to their heady, chaotic days as friends. We soon learn that Lucy wasn't the only one with secrets. Margot herself is an unreliable narrator, haunted by her grief, tormented by guilt, and unsure of what she remembers, or what she wants to remember. The further Margot descends into Lucy's mystery, the more she is forced to confront her own darkness. Who really was Lucy Sharp? And what does Margot know that she's not admitting, not even to herself? By the time the final twist lands, Only If You're Lucky has transformed from a college drama into a psychological puzzle with devastating emotional stakes. It's not just about who went missing, but why, and what that says about the people left behind. Themes and symbols. The dualities of identity and the facade one presents to the world. A central theme in Only If You're Lucky is the internal conflict between one's public identity and hidden self. The novel explores this through Lucy, a character who fabricates an entire persona to insert herself into Margot's life. Although Lucy claims to be a college student, she is neither enrolled at Rutledge nor part of the traditional college ecosystem. The complexities of female friendship and identity. Willingham paints female friendships as intricate webs of admiration, competition, dependency, and betrayal. Margot's evolving relationships highlight how young women often mold their identities in response to those around them. Her childhood friendship with Eliza, shaped by Eliza's dominant personality, leaves Margot feeling overlooked and uncertain of her own identity. The intersection of grief, guilt, and obsession. Grief is an ever-present force, especially in Margot's life. However, her sorrow over Eliza's death is laced with unresolved guilt stemming from their deteriorated friendship and her suspicion of Levi. This emotional turmoil morphs into obsession as Margot becomes fixated on uncovering the truth. Her obsessive behavior finds a parallel in Lucy, who is equally fixated on Eliza, her half-sister, and determined to take over her life. The destructive power of secrets and deception. Every major plot twist in Only If You're Lucky is rooted in secrecy. From Lucy's fabricated identity to Levi's dubious behavior and Trevor's predatory actions, the novel is saturated with hidden truths. These deceptions lead to betrayal, emotional devastation, and even murder. The theme of secrecy feeds into the broader notion of facades, how characters present curated versions of themselves to others while concealing their darkest motives. The manipulative dynamics of power and control in relationships. Power is not always loud or obvious. In this novel, it often arrives cloaked in charm. Lucy, for example, doesn't shout commands, she subtly orchestrates her surroundings through emotional manipulation. Her influence over Margot, Nicole, and even Sloane shows how power can manifest in nuanced and psychological ways. The haunting presence of the past and the inescapability of trauma. The characters in Only If You're Lucky cannot escape their pasts. Margot's grief and guilt over Eliza's death trail her into college, influencing every decision she makes. Lucy is defined by her traumatic childhood and abandonment, and her coping mechanism, becoming Eliza, illustrates how trauma can warp reality. The fragility of truth and the construction of reality. Willingham challenges readers to question what's real. Margot's memories, suspicions, and conclusions are all colored by emotion and trauma, casting doubt on her perspective. The novel's shifting truths emphasize that reality is often subjective, shaped by personal experience rather than fact. Symbol: the constellation necklace. A recurring symbol in the novel is the constellation necklace once owned by Eliza. Both Lucy and Margot covet the necklace not for its material value, but for what it represents: Eliza's charm, popularity, and gravitational pull. Lucy wears the necklace as she tries to become Eliza, decorating her world with stars and adopting Eliza's personality. When Margot takes the necklace from Lucy's body, it marks a symbolic inheritance. She now carries Eliza's legacy, both the light and the darkness. Character analysis. Margot. Margot is the heart of the novel, a character grappling with grief, identity, and the need for belonging. Initially introverted and cautious, she is drawn to bolder personalities as a way of escaping her trauma. Her transformation is gradual and painful, as she is forced to confront her own capacity for darkness. Through Margot, the novel explores how the desire for connection can make someone vulnerable to manipulation, but also how that same vulnerability can lead to profound personal growth. Eliza Jefferson. Though she dies early, Eliza's presence lingers throughout the novel. Charismatic and adored, she represents a standard of unattainable perfection that haunts both Margot and Lucy. Eliza's complicated relationships, especially with Margot and Levi, expose her as both a magnetic and distant figure, someone who demanded love but rarely returned it. Lucy Sharp. Lucy is a psychological enigma, both fascinating and terrifying. Her desire to become Eliza stems from deep abandonment trauma, and her manipulative tendencies are a defense mechanism born of emotional instability. Her control over the group is almost hypnotic, and her unraveling mirrors the danger of losing oneself in a constructed identity. Sloane Peters. Sloane is the voice of reason, often suspicious of Lucy when others are enchanted. Her moral compass and protective instincts, especially toward Nicole, make her the emotional anchor of the group. Her decision to kill Lucy is a turning point, revealing the depth of her loyalty and the emotional toll of constantly being on guard. Nicole Clausen. Nicole begins as a carefree, fun-loving girl but is deeply transformed by trauma. After being sexually assaulted by Trevor, she becomes withdrawn and emotionally fragile. Her act of killing Levi, though accidental, is the culmination of bottled rage and desperation. Levi Butler. Levi is a morally ambiguous figure whose role in Eliza's death remains murky. As both Margot's romantic interest and Eliza's former partner, he embodies tension and mistrust. His evasiveness and involvement with Lucy deepen the mystery, making him a symbol of the novel's theme of obscured truth. Trevor. Trevor is a symbol of toxic masculinity and unchecked power. As a fraternity president, he exploits his status to manipulate and abuse. His assault on Nicole is one of the most disturbing moments in the novel and serves as a stark reminder of how privilege can shield predatory behavior. Maggie. Maggie represents what Margot could have been had she stayed on a safer path. Their short-lived friendship is sacrificed for Margot's need to reinvent herself, making Maggie a symbol of innocence and missed opportunities. Detective Frank. Detective Frank is the ever-present reminder of accountability. Though he's not deeply explored, his role is pivotal in maintaining suspense. His presence reminds the girls that their actions have consequences and that the truth has a way of surfacing. Why you should read only if you're lucky. If you're drawn to atmospheric thrillers that delve deep into the human psyche, Only If You're Lucky is your next must-read. This book isn't just about what happened to Lucy, it's about why we're drawn to dangerous people, how grief warps our perception, and the lies we tell to survive. Willingham's prose is sharp and lyrical, her pacing expertly controlled. The dual timelines keep the tension taut, and the twist, when it lands, is both surprising and emotionally devastating. More importantly, the story lingers. Long after the final page, you'll find yourself wondering about Margot, about Lucy, and about the choices we all make when we're desperate to feel something, anything, again. Still wondering what happened to Lucy? Or why Margot couldn't let it go? You'll just have to read it for yourself. Check out the purchase link in the description, and prepare to be pulled under. That's it for today. Until next time, happy reading.